Hello everyone, this is Dave, and welcome back to funvuz tutorials, or if this is your first time here, welcome! Today I am going to go through how I created these 5 very different, very eclectic Christmas trees. Stick around, I'll show you how it's all done right after the intro. Our first tree, made with wooden dowels. Here I have 2 different sizes that I got from the Dollar Tree. I believe the larger sizes are 12 inches, then there's another size that's 6 inches, and then I cut the smaller ones just in half. So I had this idea of a Christmas tree just made out of these wooden dowels that is kind of a 3D effect. So what I'm doing here is I just started off making the shape of a Christmas tree. I held it down, grabbed some of that glue gun, and I just glued it together. Now this is kind of just starting the process along. I really didn't know how I was going to do this. I just had a thought in my head, and after some attempts and failed attempts too, I actually got it to work. So here I am. I'm creating the other side of this Christmas tree with that cut dowel in half right there. So again, I'm using the long dowels for the sides, and then for the base of the triangle I use the smaller dowel, and then for the extensions like this one you see here, I used these smaller dowels cut in half. So there you go, my 3D tree is starting to take shape. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing I did on the one side to the other side. And as you saw a little bit earlier, you saw how happy I got with the thumbs up because it worked. Because just before that, and I didn't show it, maybe about 3 or 4 failed attempts at putting this all together and making this work. So I was very happy when this actually did turn out. And of course, while I was doing this, I realized I needed 3 hands to do it. So I had to redo this portion again, just simply because I wasn't quick enough. The glue dried really quickly and I didn't have everything in place. So there I am wishing I had a 3rd hand. But it did eventually work out in the end. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm just holding everything in place until it dries. There you go. Now whatever I had in my head has come to life. Now I'm just going to create that base. I'm using a wooden circle, and again with a smaller wooden dowel, I'm gluing it down to the stand, and then I'm just going to take more glue and glue the tree onto that base. And of course holding it down there because I don't want it to not dry, let go, and then have everything topple over. There you go. It's all done. Christmas tree number 1 made out of wooden dowels. Christmas tree number 2, my pom-pom tree. This one ended up being one of my favorite ones just because it's so colorful, it's so fun. So I started off with a poster board and I made a cone out of it. Now the size of it I think is about maybe 6 inches, 7 inches in height. You'll see later on that I actually chop it down a little bit more because I didn't have enough pom-poms. So all I really did here was with my glue gun, I just started gluing pom-poms on. I'm starting off with the smaller ones in the pack that I got from the I think it was a Dollarama up here in Canada. I just started with the smaller ones, and then I eventually add the larger ones on towards the bottom as well, and then I mix them all together. So here I am. I'm basically just throwing a whole bunch of glue down, and then I'm just really quickly throwing on those pom-poms. I'm not really too concerned about a pattern or anything. I want it to be very random. So I just took a pom-pom, threw it on, and moved on to the next one. Say that 10 times fast. Put a pom-pom on and threw it on. So here you see I am kind of running out of pom-poms. So that bottom portion I did cut off, and there you go. There's your pom-pom tree. And Christmas tree number 3. Again, I took the poster board and I made myself a cone. This one's a little bit larger. And all I'm going to do for this is wrap twine all the way around it. So to start, what I've done is I've used twine and the glue gun. I found the glue gun dried a lot quicker than Elmer's white glue, for example. So in starting this, I wanted to get that base down really quickly. And then for the entire other portion, you'll see there, I used Elmer's glue all the way going to the top. It was a little bit messy, it was a little bit time consuming, but I really enjoyed the results at the end. Here I am, I'm just filling out all the spaces and just kind of adding more and more until I get the look that I like. And there you go, all done. Christmas tree number 4. This actually, I found this roll of gray felt at the Dollarama, and I started with an idea to just actually cut it in thirds. So you see me here cutting in thirds, and then wrapping those all around, going all the way up to the top. So I started with that, but then I actually quickly discovered I wasn't really too happy with how that looked, and this totally changed into something totally different. So here I am, I put on the first layer, I'm going to put on the second layer, and I don't really like how it turns out, so I kind of take that off right away, and then I decide, you know what, I'm just going to make little pieces out of all those strips, and then I'm going to glue them down. And I will say I loved how this turned out as well. It started out as one thing in my head, and then whammo, all of a sudden it's something completely different. I will say this, watch out with that hot glue gun when doing this, because I burned myself twice and we've all been there. It's not fun, but the end result for me, totally worth it. So there I am, I'm just finishing it off at the very top there, and I loved how this turned out. I'm so happy with it. And our 5th tree, the final tree. So I still had some of those smaller dowels left over, and I'm going to kind of start it off the same way as I did the very first tree, is I'm just going to lay that tree pattern down, or the triangle pattern down, use my glue gun, secure those corners, and I'm going to let it dry for a little bit, just to make sure everything's secure before I move it and before I move on to the next step. And I need a little bit more. Then I take that smaller dowel, again with the wooden circle, I create that base, and then that gives the tree portion a little bit of time to dry as well. Then I glue it all down, hold it in place for a bit. Now for this one I wanted to add a little bit something more, so I wanted to add that twine to it as well. I couldn't really figure out how I wanted to do it. All I know is I wanted to put twine on there somehow, and I'm just figuring out what twine to use here. I'm going back and forth. I was going to edit all this out, but then I thought, you know what, I want to show you guys the thought process behind some of my projects and behind some of my paintings or wreaths as well. There is an image in my head that I have. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and you know what, you play around with it for a little bit, see what you like, see what you don't like. Maybe sometimes you go back to an idea that you had before. You can see here I'm just fiddling around trying to figure out what I like, and eventually I do decide, you know what, that one where I wrapped it around going from the top to the bottom worked for me, so that's what I'm gonna do. So here we go, I'm just wrapping it around the top and around the bottom portion, and then I just spread that out a little bit. And that's the look that I kind of wanted this tree to have. So again, I mean, figure it out, play around with it. Eventually everything comes together in the end. And hey, if it doesn't work out, You just tried something new, right? Can't go wrong. Now this was missing something, so I grabbed my buttons and I opened up this whole brand new pack. I was really excited. I tried a couple of buttons to see which ones would work the best, and I decided with this light cream colored button. And I just threw some hot glue gun goop on the top, threw that button down, and whammo. My fifth and final tree, all complete. I think it turned out awesome. If I do say so myself. There they are, all 5 of them. My wonderful and amazing eclectic Christmas collection. I'm so happy with this. And if you're happy with it too and you like this video, why not hit that like button? And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. I upload every Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great one. Bye-bye now.